Hello, it's the second week of February and this week's articles are: KP Snacks hit by ransomware attack. Health officials apologise and explain Dorset data breaches. British Council data breach leaks 10,000 student records. Ukraine continues to face cyber espionage attacks from Russian hackers. And hackers backdoored systems at China's national games just before the competition. KP Snacks hit by ransomware attack, with retailers warned of crisps and nut shortage. Stocks of skips, knickknacks, hula hoops, McCoys and KP nuts themselves could be in tight supply until the end of March at the earliest. A ransomware attack targeting KP Snacks may lead to a shortage of several popular crisp and nut brands. Popular snacks from the British company include skips, knickknacks, hula hoops, McCoys and KP nuts themselves. They're a staple of British grocery stores, but their presence on the shelves may be in question. According to a message sent to local shops and published by industry news outlet Better Retailing, deliveries could face delays and cancellations up until the end of March at the earliest. At this stage, we cannot safely process orders or dispatch goods, the letter from KP Snacks explains. A company spokesperson has confirmed to Sky News that KP discovered a ransomware attack on Friday the 28th of January. The warning message sent out through grocery wholesaler Nissa said KP Snacks was going to limit the size of orders to retailers so it could manage what stock we have. KP Snacks' statement to Sky News said, "As soon as we became aware of the incident, we enacted our cybersecurity response plan and engaged a leading forensic information technology firm and legal counsel to assist us in our investigation. Our internal IT teams continue to work with third-party experts to assess the situation. We have been continuing to keep our colleagues, customers and suppliers informed of any developments and apologise for any disruption this may have caused. The hackers are threatening to release information stolen from the company's IT systems in order to extort it into making a payment to decrypt its files and get its business running again." The UK's National Cyber Security Centre warns, even if you pay the ransom, there is no guarantee that you will get access to your computer or your files. And that story comes from Sky News. Health officials apologise and explain Dorset data breaches. The private data of thousands of NHS patients across Dorset was breached during a 5-year period, among the highest in the country. A new study has shown Dorset Healthcare University NHS Foundation Trust experienced the 4th highest number of data breaches in the UK. However, the trust says this does not tell the whole story. Security website VPNoverview.com sent out freedom of information requests to 229 NHS foundations across the UK regarding data breaches. Of those, 152 responded. This included DHC, which was found to have recorded 3,017 total data breaches from 2016 to 2021. A data breach is an incident where data is seen by unauthorized individuals or groups, compromising the private nature of this information. Often the cause of these breaches is human error. Breached data range from medical, allergies, test results and health conditions to past and future referrals and appointments. The information is private, confidential and should not be divulged without the prior consent of the patient. DHC also recorded the most breaches in the country between 2020 to 2021 at 672. However, DHC told the Echo that of these instances, just 16 were actually reportable to the National Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, which would place the trust as among the best performing in the country. Dave Way, Data Protection Officer and Information Governance Manager at Dorset Healthcare, said, "We take the security and management of data extremely seriously. Our staff process thousands of pieces of data every day, including entries into the patient record, prescriptions, and letters to the GPs or specialists, which we have to record on our systems. We encourage staff to report any incident, no matter how small. Of the incidents logged during 2016 to 2021, only 16 were actually reportable to the National ICO. A figure which is on par with the best performing trusts in the country. The ICO did not take action against us for those 16 incidents. either making recommendations or nothing. It was satisfied with the actions we'd already taken. The vast majority of the incidents reported internally are due to things such as outdated or incorrect contact details for patients, sometimes given to us by third parties. Nonetheless, we take all data incidents seriously and are continually looking for ways to minimize human error. Mistakes can happen, but by fostering a culture of staff reporting all incidents, we strive to learn from those mistakes and reduce the possibility of them happening again. Also, in the top 10 list of data breaches was South Western Ambulance Service NHS Foundation Trust, which recorded the 7th highest in the UK with 2,458 incidents. SWAFT, which was the ambulance service, covers ambulance services for both BCP Council and Dorset Council. However, a spokesperson from SWASFT said the majority of their recorded breaches were low level and that a recent system issue fix had massively reduced the number of incidents. They said, "We take the data protection of our patients, staff and suppliers very seriously. Although any data breach is unacceptable, the majority of the issues reported in the Freedom of Information request were low-level breaches, involving less sensitive information. The breaches in the report also reflect a system issue that has since been resolved, which has resulted in a near 70% reduction in reported breaches. We remain committed to protecting the privacy of the people we care for and work with, in accordance with the law and NHS best practice." And that article is from the Bournemouth Echo. British Council data breach leaks 10,000 student records. A third-party data breach has exposed at least 10,000 records held by the British Council, a public sector organisation that provides English language courses worldwide. The security incident was reported on December 5, 2021 by researchers from Clario when they discovered an open and unprotected Microsoft Azure blob repository. A blob container was indexed by a public search engine, said Clario, which they claim contained more than 144,000 XML, JSON, and XLS/XLSX files. These datasets featured personal data belongings to students from all around the world, including full names, email addresses, student IDs, enrollment dates, and durations of studies. It is unknown how long this data was available online in public with no authentication in place. Clario said in a blog post on its MacKeeper website. Researchers contacted the British Council on December 5th, and then on December 23rd, the institution confirmed what they had found. Clario researchers said that the repository, personal and login details of British Council students potentially putting them and their personal information at risk. In an email, the Daily Swig, a spokesperson for the British Council, said that 10,000 records were accessible in a way that should not have occurred. The spokesperson said the data in question was held and processed by a third-party service provider. Approximately 10,000 records were accessible in a way that should not have occurred. On becoming aware of this, our third-party service provider immediately secured the records with appropriate controls, and the data in question was rendered no longer accessible. We are working with the supplier to ensure similar incidents do not happen in the future. We have reported the incident in accordance with our regulatory obligations and will remain in contact with the Information Commissioner's Office should any further action be required. The British Council takes its responsibility under the Data Protection Act 2018 and General Data Protection Regulations GDPR very seriously. The privacy and security of personal information is paramount. The Daily Swig has reached out to the British Council to clarify whether the 10,000 records contained 144,000 files or if it disputes Clario's findings. Next steps. The British Council, which was founded by the UK's government in 1934, promotes cultural relations and educational opportunities overseas. Clario advised any individual that may have been affected to change their passwords immediately and be on the lookout for any suspicious-looking emails or links. The blog post added, "Is that email or website looking dodgy? Did you suddenly get an advertisement asking you to join a promo? Stay on high alert after a data breach to make sure that you don't fall victim to a scam." And that article was from Swigger. Ukraine continues to face cyber espionage attacks from Russian hackers. Cybersecurity researchers on Monday said that they uncovered evidence of attempted attacks by a Russian-linked hacking operation targeting a Ukrainian entity in July 2021. Broadcom-owned Symantec, in a new report published Monday, attributed the attacks to an actor Tractor's Gamma aka Shuckworm or Armageddon, a cyber espionage collective known to be active since at least 2013. In November 2021, Ukrainian intelligence agencies branded the group as a special project of Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, in addition to pointing fingers at it for carrying out over 5,000 cyber attacks against public authorities and critical infrastructure located in the country. Gamma attacks typically originate with phishing emails that trick the recipients into installing a custom remote access Trojan called Teredo. Symantec disclosed that between July 14, 2021 and August 18, 2021, the actor installed several variants of the backdoor as well as deployed additional scripts and tools. The attack chain began with a malicious document, likely sent via a phishing email, which was opened by the user of the infected machine, the researchers said. The identity of the affected organisation was not disclosed. Towards the end of July, the adversary leveraged the implant to download and run an executable file that acted as a dropper for the VNC client before establishing connections with a remote command and control server under their control. This VNC client appears to be the ultimate payload for this attack, the researchers noted, adding the installation was followed by accessing a number of documents ranging from job descriptions to sensitive company information on the compromised machine. Ukraine calls out false flag operation in wiper attacks. The findings come amidst a wave of disruptive and destructive attacks levied against Ukraine entities by alleged Russian state-sponsored actors, resulted in the deployment of a file wiper dubbed Whispergate around the same time multiple websites belonging to the government were defaced. Subsequent investigation into the malware has since revealed that the code used in the wiper was repurposed from a faux ransomware campaign called White Black Crypt that was aimed at Russian victims in March 2021. Interestingly, the ransomware is known to include a trident symbol that is part of Ukraine's coat of arms. In the ransom note it displays to its victims, leading Ukraine to suspect that this may have been a false flag operation deliberately intended to blame a fake pro-Ukrainian group for staging an attack on its own government. And that's from Hackers News. And lastly, we have hackers backdoored systems at China's national games just before competition. Systems hosting content pertaining the national games of China were successfully breached last year by an unnamed Chinese language speaking hacking group. The cybersecurity firm Avast, which dissected the intrusion, said that the attackers gained access to web servers 12 days prior to the start of the event on September 3rd to drop multiple reverse web shells for remote access and achieve permanent foothold in the network. The National Games of China, a multi-sport event held every 4 years, took place in the Jiangxi province between September 15th and 27th, 2021. The Czech company said it was unable to determine the nature of the information stolen by the hackers, adding it has reason to believe the attackers are either native Chinese language speakers or show high fluency in Chinese. The breach is said to have been resolved ahead of the start of the games. The initial access was facilitated by exploiting a vulnerability in the web server. But before dropping the shells, the adversary also experimented with the type of files that they were able to upload to the server, only to follow it up with submitting executable code as seemingly harmless images files. Additionally, attempts were made to reconfigure the servers to execute behind a web shell, failing which the operators uploaded and ran an entire Tomcat server properly configured and weaponized with the post-exploitation tool. After gaining access, the hackers tried to move through the network using exploits and brute forcing services in an automated way. Avast researchers David Alvarez Perez and Jan Nedushul said. Among other tools uploaded to the server included a network scanner, and a custom one-click exploitation framework written in Go that enabled the threat actor to carry out lateral movement and autonomously break into other devices within the same network. Go is a programming language becoming more and more popular, which can be compiled for multiple operating systems and architectures in a single binary self-containing all dependencies. The researchers said, calling out the increasing use of Go-based malware to conduct cyber attacks. So we can expect the malware and grey tools written in this language in future attacks, especially in the Internet of Things attacks, where a broad variety of devices leveraging different kinds of processor architectures are involved. And that was from Hackers News. So there we go, another week's podcast finished, and we hope you have a fantastic week. See you soon.